Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we got to talk about what is going on with the mayor of the city of Oakland, because we've had a major update. She has come out of hiding, given a press conference, claimed that she has done nothing wrong, and now she's alleging the FBI essentially coordinating with the recall campaign in order to destroy her reputation, because as we all know, Joe Biden's FBI definitely 100% is going after Democrats. That's a thing that's definitely happening, and they teamed up with this recall to form this investigation in, I guess, a couple of days just to bring down Mayor Sheng Thao. Now, we're going to get into this. We're going to assess the validity of this, but before we do, thank you to everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Our city woke up to the news that the FBI had raided the home that I share with my partner and our family. You all deserve to hear directly from me about this event. I plan to be 100% transparent and cooperate fully with this investigation. And I want to be crystal clear. I have done nothing wrong.
So right off the top, I don't know why I have to clarify this, but some of you out there in the audience thought I was saying in my previous video that Mayor Sheng Thao was in hiding from the FBI when I meant she was in hiding from the press. She had not given a media appearance since the raid. She had actually avoided some functions that she was scheduled for, and even at her house, the media was not able to get a hold of her. But she has come out, she's swinging, and she's decided to take aim at the FBI, coordinating supposedly with the recall campaign and saying that they tipped off the media, when in reality, in actuality, we have overwhelming evidence that a huge portion of this claim is nonsense.
I want to know how the TV cameras knew to show up on my sleepy residential street so early in the morning to capture footage of the raid.
First and foremost, the media outlets got the tips from the neighbors. When you live next to the mayor and the mayor's home gets raided by the FBI, you tend to call it in. That's exactly what happened right here. Secondly, the recall campaign was deemed successful to, actually get the recall on the ballot 2 days before the FBI raid. And from what we can all see for ourselves, this investigation has been developing for months, if not years, prior to this. And this is due in large part to the fact that you have this family, this powerful Vietnamese family, at the center of this. And we had ethics investigations related to this dating back to, I believe, 2021.
The timing of all this is troubling, and we should all be concerned. We now have an active recall campaign that is a waste of time and public resources. And I have questions that need to be answered. I want to know what probable cause the FBI has. What evidence have they collected that justifies raiding the home of a sitting mayor without notice and without the courtesy of a conversation?
Now, of course, the mayor takes aim at the recall campaign. She says it's a waste of time and public resources, and need I remind you that the investigation supposedly is due to a pay-to-play scheme in which this contractor that's owned by this Vietnamese firm, that, by the way, is the only company contracted to pick up recyclables curbside in the city of Oakland, has in the past received overpayments for their services, and this was deemed to be true in previous administrations, and thus been forced to pay back for those services. So in this particular instance, when there appears to be a scheme in order to get them to donate more than the legal limit to various candidates, a total of $76,000 when they're up for government contracts, that's obviously a red flag and may indicate a greater waste of public resources. On top of that, let us be clear, this particular scandal for Mayor Sheng Thao is the tip of the iceberg. When she came into office in the city of Oakland, as I've said time and time again, crime was actually going down in the city. They had actually dropped to all-time lows, below 100 homicides a year and still descending. And then all of a sudden, despite the fact that that was achieved through increasing the Oakland police force along with various other methods, she decided to jump on board with the defund the police ideology, and guess what? Crime spiked dramatically. You have all these different businesses that are closing. We're actually going to do a video on another company abandoning the city very soon, and she wants to pretend like the recall campaign has no merits. That's absurd. She is one of the best candidates to recall in the entire country, at least from the mayor's office, not to mention the district attorney that she works hand in hand with, Pamela Price, should also be up for a recall.
I want to know more about the handful of billionaires from San Francisco and from Piedmont who are hell-bent on running me out of office. I want to know why, the day following the qualification of a recall election, funded by some of the richest people in the Bay Area, seemed like the right day to execute a warrant.
Now, you gotta love the fact that she's talking about the handful of billionaires from San Francisco and all these other places that are trying to run her out of office. She ends up playing the victim, saying that she didn't grow up rich, she didn't go to an elite college, and all that stuff.
When you're in that much shock, and your life has been turned upside down and in an instant, it is hard to know who you can trust. But what I do know is that this wouldn't have gone down the way it did if I was rich, if I had gone to elite private schools, or if I had come from money. I know that for sure because former elected officials are sitting safely in their houses, in the hills right now with campaign finance violations piling up, mountains of evidence that prove actual wrongdoing.
But need I point out that the reason she's under investigation is because this very powerful Vietnamese family that's not only powerful in the state of California, but is powerful in the nation of Vietnam, billionaires themselves, appear to have gone out of their way to install her into office. So the idea that, oh, these rich people want me gone in San Francisco, I'm just like you, I'm a woman of the people, is kind of absurd when you're dealing with a corruption scheme where you're giving away the dollars of the people. On top of that, there is nothing more of a luxury belief than being in favor of defund the police, having your citizens suffer with the criminals while you sit in your ivory tower and pretend like the problems aren't happening. That's who this mayor is. She is an elitist, make no mistake about it. I don't give a damn that she didn't grow up extraordinarily rich or go to elite private schools.
Their front doors remain intact, their reputations preserved, their innocence presumed until proven guilty. They will never face this indignity. This I know for sure because I was born poor in America, and that teaches you a lot about the world from day one. I know many of you know exactly how this feels. Sitting with your head in your hands, scared, angry, scared to look too angry in fear of how you might make the situation worse, feeling the injustice in every bone in your body, knowing if you cry out and demand for answers, you will do nothing but cement the judgment they have rooted deep in their mind.
Now, what's great about this particular press conference is that Mayor Sheng Thao actually had an elite lawyer, and we actually talked about him in a previous video, and I made fun of one of the defenses that he threw out there, which was that Sheng Thao wasn't the target of the investigation, it was actually just the residents.
He doesn't believe the mayor is the target of the search.
The target of the search warrant was the residents, not her.
Which was hilarious to me because it's her residence. They're not going to arrest her home. Obviously, if the FBI is raiding it, that has something to do with her, but that lawyer is considered to be a very well-respected white-collar crimes lawyer, the perfect person to be on board, and despite the fact that he has this weird goofy hair behind the back of his head, he was a legit force on her side and could have easily mounted a good defense for her because that's what the man does. Well, guess what? He's dropped the case. He was not in favor of this press conference. He did not like this press conference. Something in here that he heard he could not get on board with.
Yeah, her legal counsel, Tony Brass, who is a very well-known and respected defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, basically bowed out of the case. And when asked why, he told me, for starters, he didn't know that this press conference was going to happen.
At all.
He didn't know, and he didn't know what she was going to say. And I don't believe that he was comfortable with her insinuations that the FBI was somehow acting out of political considerations, that they were somehow involved with the recall effort, that the recall effort happened and that she found it, quote unquote, troublesome that the FBI showed up the next day or within 2 days. And she even questioned, how did we in the media find out about it?
Sure.
Hinting that possibly the FBI leaked it.
So now she needs to find a new attorney because this guy not interested in working with her anymore, which could lead me to believe that he thinks he's dealing with a rogue candidate who's trying to litigate this in the court of public opinion, even though that would cost her very dearly in the criminal courts.
When you're in that much shock and your life has been turned upside down and in an instant, it is hard to know who you can trust. But what I do know is that this wouldn't have gone down the way it did if I was rich, if I had gone to elite private schools, or if I had come from money. I know that for sure because former elected officials are sitting safely in their houses, in the hills right now with campaign finance violations piling up, mountains of evidence that prove actual wrongdoing.
Now, other than playing the victim, she ended up deciding that she was going to go after the previous mayor and other politicians who she says definitely 100% did the same exact thing that she's accused of, not the same thing that she did, because don't worry about that, she didn't do nothing, and they were not subject to an FBI raid. But as the local news points out, this is a piss poor defense because those are in the ethics investigation stage. They're not a federal issue, and obviously with the IRS, the FBI, and the Postal Service raiding her, it seems to be dramatic financial impropriety is what they're investigating.
She's referring in or veiled reference to former Mayor Libby Schaaf, who is being under investigation by the Oakland Ethics Commission for questionable financing on a ballot measure. Okay, was she working behind the scenes for a committee on a ballot measure? It was sort of an interesting travel log there from the mayor who says that we're innocent until proven guilty, but I know that she's facing charges and they're piling up when in fact those charges, we haven't seen anybody charged with anything.
On top of that, one of the things that is speculated by the local media, and they tend to know a little bit more about these situations than I would as somebody who doesn't live in Oakland, who hasn't been following this mayor particularly closely, it appears that her husband might be also a party to this particular investigation, because typically if you're going to do financial impropriety kind of stuff, paying off the mayor directly or indirectly is not a good move, but if you can funnel money to family members, relatives, or spouses, that is the way to go. So we might actually have issues with that, but the fact of the matter is this particular press conference did not do her any favors in the court of public opinion, and obviously losing a high-powered attorney, this might not have done her any favors in the court of law. Now, I also want to point out that Mayor Sheng Thao is rich. She is a wealthy woman. They raided her very large home in the city of Oakland, and this idea that she's just gonna play victim, which honestly makes a lot of sense because this is the way that she got into office in the first place, is really embarrassing when you see she has been raided with all these different agencies involved, a solid warrant against her, and in connection with a family that is well known to be a locally corrupt force. Again, whether they're corrupting politicians with regular ordinary means of corruption that are considered to be legal, or they're doing it in the ways that are alleged right here, which appear to be illegal. These repay the campaign donors kind of schemes in order to funnel money to their campaign to get them in office in order to get better contracts. The fact of the matter is, this woman is far from being your average everyday citizen. And while she's talking about this, while she's bogged down in her own personal troubles, her own personal legal corruption issues, the fact of the matter is the people of the city of Oakland are suffering. They're dealing with all these different various store closures. They're dealing with the fact that the Oakland Police Department had its funding cut, has been hemorrhaging officers, and that faith is not being restored. We've seen all the different various places that have closed across Oakland, including the first In-N-Out to ever close a location ever closing there, and this is due in large part to the fact that car break-ins are completely out of control. But this woman has decided that she's going to say that she's the ultimate victim. You need to sympathize with her. She's a woman of the people, and honestly, if only she was rich, she would have never had these consequences for her. How sad it is for her that she seems to be getting herself rich through corruption in this way if these allegations are proved to be legitimate. Now, of course, we will always wait for indictments. We will always wait for charges, and we will wait for the adjudication of these particular cases. But would you be surprised if somebody who perpetuates herself as a victim, even as she's the mayor of the city of Oakland, even as she's a part of one of the most successful demographics in the United States of America, to basically excuse her way to stealing? I mean, there's a reason why her chief of staff that went from her campaign all the way to the time that she got into office decided that she was going to pack it up and leave and talk to the FBI, and this is because this particular powerful Vietnamese family seemed to hold a great range of influence over her. And as she described it, one of the things that the FBI is looking into is whether or not this person is trading favors for campaign donations or other perks like appointments, like policy, etc., government contracts, all of that.
I see you. I really see you. And I am your mayor. I am the mayor to call the I am the mayor to all the Oaklanders who work hard.
Now, that being said, there are points of this press conference where I just kind of want to laugh out loud, like the fact that she started tearing up in the end of it, saying, I am the mayor of you. I am the mayor to all Oaklanders. Oh my God, it's so sad. I mean, unless, of course, you're the victim of a crime, unless, of course, you need police services, then she's not really the mayor for you. And again, this is all on the heels. Her vanishing post this FBI raid of a mass violence incident, mass shooting that occurred on Juneteenth, where the mayor has been completely absent from this. Now, I didn't actually show this part. It's linked in the description if you want to watch this press conference for yourself. It's not even that long, but she had to open up by addressing that because she went missing, went into hiding post the FBI raid, and the fact of the matter is she never really addressed that. So she paid lip service to holding all these different various people accountable, not even mentioning the fact that, of course, since she's taken office, homicides and all these other problems in the city of Oakland have spiked dramatically. So yeah, save me the performance, save me the ridiculousness of this particular segment. We understand that we have a very powerful family that holds influence over you. They're connected with the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce, and they've apparently gotten you to have trips to the nation of Vietnam, and all of this just smells really fishy. So what I want to hear from you is not emotionally how you're the mayor of the city of Oakland. We already know how Oaklanders feel about you in that they're about to recall you. So this idea that you're just this champion of the people, you're just a poor like everybody else, you're just a sad sack that needs support is absurd to me. It's a joke, and I've had enough with it.
Who are working overtime to do the right thing and to make the world a better place. And no matter how hard you strive and push and fight and stay positive, and that you don't give up because you believe in yourself and you know what you have to offer this world, that you just cannot catch a break.
I mean, come on. This lady is saying, I'm here to do the right thing and make the world the better place. Who the hell is she? Captain Planet? Are we serious with this? She's pretending like she's a superhero right now and that the FBI was cracking down on her. And again, we have issues with certain FBI agents, certain FBI cases appearing to be politically motivated, but the fact of the matter is they did not investigate this woman for years before this recall petition actually existed, get the approval for this search warrant, and time it to the point where it's the day after they finished the petition for her recall. That's a bit absurd. And what did she want? They were doing a simultaneous raid on 4 different locations. Only one of them was her residence. Were they supposed to just hit those other residents and leave whatever evidence that was in her residence completely untouched because it would have been politically not good to go after her at a time when she's in a precarious position due to her own policies that are completely unrelated to this potential corruption scandal? It's an absurd notion, and honestly, this mayor looks like she's done. She sounds like she's given the siren call for somebody who's headed to prison, so I don't think Mayor Sheng Thao is long for this political world. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think this press conference won you over? Do you think that this woman is standing up against the elites by teaming up with Vietnamese billionaires and basically giving away the store to them for illegal campaign contributions? Or do you think that this is going to be the end for her? Recall campaign, investigation, it's a wrap, it's game over, sad day for her, she needs to get the hell out, and hopefully a new mayor comes in and instills a new culture, maybe even the previous culture, where they actually hire police and use them to reduce crime in that city. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Mayor Sheng Thao coming out of hiding. Till next time.